Good afternoon to all. Myself, Dr. S. Devati, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the topic concrete technology, and we are going to specially discuss about the topic cement. So, as all of us know, cement is the most commonly used construction material worldwide. Cement is a binder, a substance that sets in hearts and binds all the ingredients together. Cement, when reacts with the water, it forms a hardened component that when added with the aggregates, it forms the concrete. So it can be seen that cement can be manufactured by the combination of calcareous material, that is limestone or chalk, and is combined with argillaceous material, that is clay. This is how the cement is manufactured. Next we'll deal with the history of cement. So earlier stages, Egyptians and Romanians, those two country people, they mostly used cement, and it is obtained by burning gypsum. Later, Joseph Aspdin, a scientist in England, he patented Portland cement in 1824. The term Portland cement was coined because a stone in England that resembled the exact Portland cement. So the term Portland was coined from the place present in England. So that is how the Portland cement came. Next, coming to the chemical composition of cement. So cement predominantly constitutes lime, that is calcium oxide, which constitutes 60 to 67%, silicon dioxide 17 to 25%, aluminum trioxide 3 to 8%, iron oxide 0.5 to 6%, followed by magnesium oxide 0.1 to 4%. Here, lime is the most predominant material that is responsible for the strength of the cement. Lime in excess will disintegrate and decay the cement, and lime, if it is present in less quantity, will affect the setting time of cement. Similarly, silica should be present in optimum dosage of 17 to 25%. Excess or deficiency of any of these ingredients will affect the strength and durability aspect of the cement. Alumina is mainly responsible for the plastic nature of cement, and iron oxide is mainly responsible for the color of the cement. So magnesium oxide, alkalis and silica should be present at a dosage less than 1.5%. Next is the raw materials for the manufacturing of Portland cement. First ingredients is the calcareous material, that is limestone. So it's the principal constituent and its proportion can be regulated, and excess of the lime it will reduce the strength and it will make the cement to expand and disintegrate, and lesser amount of the lime it will reduce the strength and it will lead to quick setting of cement. The next ingredient is the argillaceous material, that is clay. It imparts strength and more quick setting nature. Third is the powdered coal or fuel. So this is used for burning process of cement. Lastly, gypsum. So cement, when reacts with water, it will set and harden. So immediately it will set and harden. So we have to add gypsum that is used for it will be acting as a retarding agent. So next topic is about manufacturing process of cement. So first, it constitutes four important processes. First is mixing and crushing the raw materials. It is divided into two processes, dry and wet process. Second stage is the burning of the raw ingredients of cement. Third is the grinding of the ingredients. Last is storage and packing. We'll deal with all of the ingredients, all the processes individually. So first process is mixing and crushing of the raw materials. As we know, cement is predominantly manufactured by two main ingredients, that is limestone and clay. Here the limestone is crushed, powdered and stored in silos. Silos are some containers where the raw ingredients are stored. Next, clay. Second ingredient is clay. It is washed with water in order to remove all the impurities, and then it is stored in basin. And in the next stage, all the ingredients are mixed in a grinding mill. It will form a slurry. In the grinding mill, water is added, and the slurry constitutes 38 to 40% of water. And the mixed slurry is now fed into a correcting basin where the proportion of the ingredients is adjusted. Second stage is the burning process. It is done in a rotary kiln. So here the rotary kiln is inclined at 5 to 6 degree, and it is a cylindrical drum with the length of 90 to 120 meters. Here the slurry is fed into the top portion, that is the drying zone. Here is the upper part of the kiln. Here the temperature is about 400 degrees Celsius, and in this particular stage the entire water which is present in the slurry is completely evaporated. So that zone is called the drying zone. So the ingredients is now fed into the calcination zone. It is the central part of the kiln. Here the temperature is about 700 to 1000 degrees Celsius. Here in this particular zone the lime decomposition starts. So lime is decomposed, decomposed into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So in cement manufacturing process, for manufacturing equivalent amount of cement, equivalent amount of carbon dioxide is liberated. In the third stage is called the clinkering zone. This is the lower part of the kiln. Here the temperature is about 1250 to 1500 degrees Celsius. Here the ingredients reacts with clay to form various box components. This is the burning process. Third process is the grinding and packing. So in the clinkering stage, several nodular products are formed. Those nodules are ball-like structures. Those balled clinkers, since they are burned at higher temperature, those clinkers need to be cooled for several hours of time. The clinkers are cooled down and it is ground to fine powder in ball mills. At this final stage of grounding, 2 to 3% of powdered gypsum is added. So cement will react with water, it immediately sets and hardens. In order to avoid that, gypsum is added. Gypsum is a retarding agent that will delay the setting time of cement. Last is the packing of cement. The fine grind powder, it is now packed in bags. Generally the ground powder is stored in silos initially. Silos are huge containers where the ground cement is stored. After that, from the silos the cement is automatically packed in bags. Each bag of cement weighs 50 kg. Next is the box compound. So box compound is a compound that is a complex compound. It is formed at the clinkering stage at higher temperatures. So these compounds are present in cement. These compounds are responsible for the strength and durability of the cement. First ingredient is tricalcium silicate, dicalcium silicate, tricalcium aluminate and tetracalcium aluminoferrite. They are technically termed as alite, belite, cellite and phthalite. And here tricalcium silicate is constituting 55% and is responsible for initial strength development of the cement. Here the dicalcium silicate is responsible for the later part of the strength development in cement, that is after 28 days. Then tricalcium aluminate is responsible for the setting and hardening of cement. Similarly, tetracalcium aluminoferrite is also responsible for setting and later hardening of cement. So next is the types of cement. There are various types of cement as ordinary Portland cement, Portland pozzolana cement, rapid hardening cement, low heat cement, sulfate resisting cement, quick setting, blast furnace slag cement, white and colored cement. So these cements are manufactured by varying and altering the box component percentages. So ordinary Portland cement is a traditionally available cement. It is manufactured worldwide. It is used for manufacturing of grouts, wall putties, solid concrete blocks, AAC blocks and different types of cement. It is mainly used for all masonry construction and any general construction purposes. Earlier days OPC was mainly used for all construction purposes. OPC is liberating more amount of carbon dioxide and the demand of cement is also high. So in order to compensate that and to mitigate this carbon dioxide emission, Portland pozzolana cement was introduced. So Portland pozzolana cement, it is prepared by grinding pozzolanic clinkers with Portland cement. So pozzolanic clinkers are nothing but the ash, this fly ash, silica, fume, GGBS, the industrial byproduct waste that are rich in silica and alumina. So those ingredients can be mixed with the cement for the manufacturing of Portland pozzolana cement. So its properties are, it has high resistance to various chemical attacks like attack of sulfate, chloride, seawater, etc. And its applications are, it is used in marine structures, sewage work, for laying of concrete in underwater construction, bridges, piers, dams and mass concrete works like retaining walls, etc. So next is the rapid hardening cement. The name itself is indicating that rapid means quick. So the cement sets and hardens in a very quick manner and the strength development is also extremely high. So this cement is manufactured by increasing the proportion of lime in cement, also by increasing the proportion of C3S content. So C3S is one of the box component that is responsible for initial quick setting of cement. So by this way rapid hardening cement is produced. Another way is finer grinding. When we grind the cement to extreme fine powder form, the surface area of cement is increased. So as the surface area is increased, the rate of strength development is also higher. By this way rapid hardening cement is produced. Its properties are, it has higher strength at very earlier stages when compared with the ordinary Portland cement. And its applications include, it is mainly used when the formworks need to be removed earlier. When the construction need to be done at a very rapid rate, in that cases we can go for rapid hardening cement. It increases the speed of construction and decreases the construction cost. cost, as the formworks can be easily removed and it can be reused a multiple number of times. So the construction cost and time is saved. So it is mainly used in precast construction and roadworks. Next is the low heat cement. So this cement has very less amount of heat liberation when compared with, as all of us know, cement when reacts with water, the reaction is exothermic, where more amount of heat will be liberated. So when more amount of heat is liberated in practical applications, some minor cracks, plastic shrinkage cracks will be formed. In case of structures like dams, cracks are to be completely eliminated. So in that kind of applications, low heat cement can be used. So it is produced by maintaining the percentage of tricalcium aluminate less than 6% and increasing the proportion of C2S. When C3A is reduced and C2S is increased, low heat cement is produced. So it has high resistance against the attack of sulfates and is mainly suitable for mass concrete construction, especially for dams and retaining walls. So next is all about the sulfate resisting cement. The name itself is indicating it has high resistance against the attack of sulfates. So this cement has reduced content of C3A and C4AF. The aluminate proportion in the cement ingredients are minimized to greater extent, and thereby this particular cement has high resistance to sulfate attack. It is used in construction of foundation where the soil has higher sulfate content. So in applications, it is used in the construction where the region is exposed to severe sulfate action by water and in soil, and is used for canal linings, culverts, retaining walls and siphons in dams. Next is high alumina cement. This cement is manufactured by melting bauxite. Bauxite is highly rich in alumina and lime and is grinded to fine powdered form. This is again a rapid hardening cement where the cement sets and hardens within 5 hours of time. Normally the maximum setting time of cement is 10 hours. Here in case of high alumina cement, the cement sets and hardens within 5 hours. Is the property of here the compressive strength of cement is extremely high, and it is used in regions where the concrete is subjected to higher temperature, frost and acid reaction. So there are some special varieties of cement as the white cement. So here the cement ingredient, iron oxide, is a material ingredient that is responsible for giving color to the cement. Here in case of white cement, iron oxide component is completely eliminated, thereby we get the white cement. So it is more expensive when compared to the ordinary Portland cement. This cement acts as a pore blocking and a water repelling agent. It will not allow water to pass. So this has high application in case of repairing and joining marble pillars and blocks. So flooring works, all we can use this white cement, and is also used in the manufacture of tiles and mosaic walls. Next is about the waterproof cement. It is also called as hydrophobic cement. In this cement, some chemical agents like calcium stearate, aluminum stearate, gypsum, along with the tannic acid is added to Portland cement. It is more expensive when compared with ordinary Portland cement and even white cement. This completely eliminates the water entry to the concrete element. So this has specific application where water cannot enter the concrete. So it acts as a pore blocking water and a water repelling agent. It is used for making concrete which is completely impervious to water at higher pressure. It is also used in construction where water absorption need to be completely avoided. It is also used in bridges and in case of underwater construction like caissons. Next is all about the field test of cement. So when we get a bag of cement at field, at a site, construction site, we can't go and test the cement at the laboratory. In that case, we have to know how the quality of cement. We have to assess the cement at field. So these steps can be followed. Cement should give us a cool, chill feeling when touched with hand. And when we take a pinch of cement and rub with the fingers, it should be giving a smooth feeling. And when a handful of cement is thrown in a bucket of water, it should float on the surface and it should not sink. By this way, we can assess the quality of cement. So the possible questions in the covered topics are the cement, its history and applications, the composition of cement, how cement is manufactured by dry and wet process, and the types of cement, that is including its properties and applications. Thank you.